Hey guys, McKay with the CleanTech Daily Technology News Review, and today was a pretty slow day in the world of technology. However, there was a good piece of news that I did find regarding airlines being canceled because of a 5G rollout. It's actually pretty interesting. It has to do a lot with putting your phone onto airplane mode, which I've never fully understood. This article touches on it a little bit, but I did want to go ahead and talk about what exactly happened and how this will affect flights across the world. So, some flights to and from the U.S. were canceled on Wednesday, even after AT&T and Verizon scaled back their rollout. So people were putting up 5G like crazy, and AT&T and Verizon has scaled back the amount that they were doing near airports because it could interfere with aircraft technology and that measures altitude. So for whatever reason, the 5G signals from the towers that go to our phones interferes with, it doesn't go directly to our phones, but you know what I mean. It interferes with the aircrafts, and I've always wondered this, like, why do you have to put your phone on airplane mode? But oh well. Carriers that rely heavily on the wide body Boeing 777 cancels flights or switch to a different plane following the warnings from the Federal Aviation Administration and Boeing. Now, this is interesting. This next paragraph is one of the most interesting. But airlines that solely or mostly fly Airbus jets, including Air France and Ireland's Aer Lingus, seem unaffected by the new 5G service. So, in my opinion, this is more of a Boeing problem and not an AT&T and Verizon problem, which it honestly affects AT&T and Verizon. It talks about it later in this article. But the workers are already there at the airport, and they're like, whoa, please don't put them up. It'll like ruin everything. But that's like, if all the other jets are fine with it but Boeing, obviously, like, we want the safety for everybody. But Boeing should have coordinated better. Especially, I don't know, it just seemed kind of odd to me. I could be wrong on that, so correct me if I'm wrong. But by mid-afternoon Wednesday, airlines had canceled more than 250 flights, according to FlightAware. That's a small percentage of total U.S. flights, however, far fewer in the cancellations than during Christmas and New Year's. I don't know if you guys heard, but like during Christmas and New Year's, there was thousands of cancellations. It actually says it right here. Those peaked at more than 3,000 a day. Can you imagine 3,000 flights a day being grounded because they couldn't get flights off the ground because of lack of attendance and just employees? It was hobbled by winter storms and large numbers of workers calling in sick because of the Rona. So, Airlines for America, a trade group, said cancellations were limited because telecom providers agreed to temporarily reduce the rollout of 5G near airports while the industry and government work out a longer-term solution, which it really puts these companies in a bad spot because it's not necessarily the company's fault. I don't know the whole story. Like, I don't know if these airlines knew about this issue before, but it's kind of, I imagine, it'd be frustrating. I know one of the I don't know where he works from, but he said they have to resolve this problem. It would be a lot better if they had resolved it way before and we knew this in advance instead of like finding out when we are here at the airport. So I definitely can see where their frustrations can be. It could be quite difficult. So, but the FAA officials saw a potential problem, and telecom companies agreed to a pause Tuesday while it's being addressed. It continues to talk about the 5G rollout and more technicalities behind 5G. It also says it was one of the most delinquent and utterly irresponsible situations he'd ever seen, as it involved a failure by government, science, and industry. And this was president of Emirates, Tim Clark, and he said it was the most delinquent and utterly irresponsible situations. I think that's kind of funny. Japan's All Nippon Airways told that the FAA had indicated that radio waves from the 5G wireless service may interfere with aircraft altimeters, and Boeing said it canceled 20 flights because of it. So there was just a bunch of different devices, the planes that were affected, but it's mainly the Boeing 777s. So, but the Air France said it planned to continue flying those planes into American airports. It did not explain why it didn't change. So it sounds like it's kind of like it sounds like a fly at your own risk. I don't understand a lot of air laws or anything like that, so please don't sue me. But that's kind of what I understood about it. So there was one other thing that I want to talk about today, and that is speaking of all these phones and clean and all these wireless devices that may interfere with airplanes, we have a clean phone, and luckily on our clean phone we have airplane mode, so you won't crash your airplane. Clean phone is a fantastic phone that can be used literally from the time your kids are in kindergarten, from the time they graduate high school, because we designed this technology to be able to have it grow with your kids or your family members, whoever decides to use it. You can monitor. There's actually a list of things it does right here. You can manage apps. So if you don't want your 16-year-old to have Instagram or TikTok, you can say you can't have those. You can use Facebook, but not use those, for example. You can also monitor text messaging and phone calls. You can also schedule app usages, so how long somebody's on an app, and you can also see how long they're on each app. So if your kid's doing their homework and they're like, it took me 2 hours to do my homework, and you look at their report history and they watched TikTok for an hour and a half of those, you definitely can adjust that situation then. So this is CleanPhone. CleanPhone is a fantastic device. We've sold lots of them to a lot of people, and we've gotten a lot of really positive reviews about them. If you want more information, check out this video that I have at the end of this video, and like always, I hope to see you guys next time. I hope to see you guys next time. Happy tech reviews.